Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video. I'm here to talk about new Super Lucky's Tale, a very enjoyable 3D platformer that I recently, or no, earlier in the year completed, and it was one of my most, I guess, enjoyable games. It made it on my on my list of top games of 2020. And of course, this game is actually based on a older title, which is Super Lucky's Tale, which I do own the physical version on the Xbox One. This was released in 2017. And published by Microsoft. I remember I was very excited to get this game just because 3D platformers are not very, I guess, popular these days, with the exception of obviously Nintendo. You know, they have a grip on that market thanks to, Mario first and foremost, right? So I was very excited when Microsoft decided to publish this game back in 2017. But new Super Lucky's Tale is actually based on the 2017 release, and it's actually kind of like an improvement. It's not necessarily a sequel or a prequel or anything like that. It's based on the 2017 game, but it features added levels, improved, I guess, graphics and features like camera angles, and so forth. I think it also expands on the story, more characters and things like that. So I can't really do a one-to-one comparison because I only played the 2017 game briefly. And recently when I decided to play this game, I figured, why not play the new version, which is the improved one, which is part of Game Pass. So they do have a physical version of that game, but I don't own that one yet. I think I may buy it because I really enjoyed the game and I want to support the developers, which is Playful Studios. But yeah, the new version, new Super Lucky's Tale, Lucky Tale is available on Game Pass, and that's where I played it. Focusing on the game, there's not a whole lot to talk about on the story. This is your typical, 3D platformer, kind of like mascot game, where with a very simple storyline. You're Lucky, the character here, this little, I guess, fox looking character. You're trying to help your sister recover the pages for, I believe it's called the Book of Ages. Which is also trying to be procured by the villain of the game, which is Jinx, this evil cat. And the objective of the game is to get all the pages before he does, in order to save the kingdom or whatever. A very simple story, but it does have interesting elements, kind of like taking pages out of Super Mario World, because the main character or the main villain, Jinx, he has his kids or whatever, which are also part of the villains in the game that you will defeat throughout the several worlds in the game, kind of like the Koopalings in Super Mario World. So I guess a nice nod to other platformers like Super Mario World in that regard. So the story very simple, nothing that's gonna keep you on the edge of your seat or anything like that. But graphically, the game does does the job. I mean, it's a 3D platformer with colorful, crisp graphics, very I guess very good performance in terms of the frame rate, the way the game controls. The graphics are not gonna blow your mind or anything like that, but they're very appropriate for the type of game, being a kind of like mascot, colorful 3D platformer. I thought the different settings in the game were pretty well done. In a typical faction, this game covers a lot of different, I guess, territories. You have your green levels, with a lot of grass, mountains, snow levels, lava levels, spooky mansion type of Halloween theme levels. So a little bit of everything in this game, and the graphics are not excellent, but they're more than appropriate for the 3D platformer that the game is. In the sound compartment, a very interesting and very well suited, soundtracks, limited voice acting in the game, which I think helps a little bit. In fact, I do want to say the voice acting is probably pretty good, actually. The different villains in the game, Jinx and his other minions are all voice acted, voice recording and things like that, and they're all pretty appropriate for the type of game it is. And with that being said, we'll go into the gameplay, which is what makes makes or breaks a 3D platformer. And thankfully, new Super Lucky Tales is very easy to control. I think it helps a lot that you have a double jump, which I know it's a little bit of a controversial, I guess, addition when it comes to, platforming purists out there. There are a lineage of fans out there that think that double jumping is kind of like an evil thing on 3D platformers, because it does make things a whole lot easier. And I have to agree that the platforming in New Super Lucky Tale is not very challenging, and a big component of that is the actual double jump, because it allows you to maneuver your character, combined with the physics. I have to say that, because the physics in this game I think are pretty fair. The weight, you can control your character, and as the character is falling down, for example, you can still adjust your landing, which is pretty useful. And that combined obviously with the double jump makes for a, I'm not going to say easy platforming game, but a very fair and just a overall fair game. And I didn't have a problem with this game in terms of difficulty. I think it was more than, it's on the easy side for sure, but I didn't mind that because, the experience overall was pretty fun and pretty, just overall pretty colorful and fun and suited to a 3D platformer. So if you're looking for a challenge, this may not be your game, but to me what matters was the enjoyable experience. So the game is easy to control, in contrast to the 2017 release, which again, I only played, very limited, like the first world. And from what I recall, one thing that kind of caught me off guard was the lack of maneuvering in the camera, and the actual controls didn't feel really good. So I think those are key elements that got fixed in this new version, which is great, because it makes the game just a whole lot more enjoyable. So the controls are pretty fair, and I really enjoy the variety in terms of the level design. For the most part, most of the levels are kind of like 3D platforming, venues where you're freely to move anywhere you want, and do your jumps and whatnot. But the game also features side-scrolling levels, runner type levels where your character is just running automatically and you have to jump and crouch and slide, trying to collect coins, and other levels like puzzle levels and so forth. So the game does a good job of having a lot of variety in terms of the different worlds and levels in the game, as well as the collecting aspect in this game. I believe there are 3 or 4, I guess, pages that you can obtain for each level, and some of them are based on, if you get like 300 or more coins in a level, you automatically get a book page, for example. There's typically one that's very well hidden within the level, so that's another one. Then you have your regular one that you get just by completing the objective itself in the level. So they do provide a good variety in terms of collecting the pages for the book, and it makes it a very enjoyable experience, combined with the variety of the levels, the side-scrolling, the puzzle levels, and some other elements like collecting a lot of coins allowed you to buy costumes for your character, different types of costumes. You have hats, shirts, things like that just make it a little bit more fun, and kind of could awaken that completionist side of you while playing the game. So one more thing that I like to point out, and this is on a personal level, obviously, I played this with my little niece. She every now and then she visits here at least once a month, and it was fun playing this with alongside her. She kind of gave up towards the second half of the game, when the levels get quote unquote harder. She's only 9 years old, and she doesn't really own any like consoles or handhelds. She does a lot of mobile, cell phone gaming, I guess, but she enjoys every time she comes here because she gets to play, all the all the video games that Uncle Bruno has. But it was just very fun observing her play the game. holding the controller and just her eyes, concentrating on the TV, and just the way she thinks and approaches things. I thought it was very interesting, and it reminded me of when I was her age, playing video games. Everything seems magical and just very fun. So this is kind of like her favorite game of all time as of now. So I thought it was a pretty cool experience just to play this game with a younger person and see their reactions and emotions throughout the playthrough. So pretty interesting in that regard. But closing statements, I think New Super Lucky's Tale is a very fun game. It's on the easy side, but it's very enjoyable, very colorful. It's really an ode to older, platforming games, and that's a welcome thing. I believe nowadays it's very hard to find 3D platformers that are of good quality. I know there's a lot of indie developers out there that make these types of games, but I think it has to be celebrated when major publishers like Microsoft decide to publish games like this, because quite frankly they're typically not on the popular side when it comes to sales. That's an area where Nintendo has a strong grip, with the Mario franchise and other series that they own. But very interesting and fresh to see every now and then 3D platformers like this make it big into the I guess marketplace. And I'm very happy that I think New Super Lucky's Tale and the previous game Lucky's Tale that I have here, I think they perform pretty well in terms of sales, and hopefully we get to see the developer Playful do more platformers, whether it's based on the Lucky hero or mascot, or new experiences. I'll be down for that, because this game controls pretty well, and there was a lot of variety and charming colorful graphics and sound effects and the whole 9 yards. So that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Take it easy.